possible safe bottom lane from the OpTic Gaming side, whose bottom lane, I believe, has been performing a lot better and has been a huge part of the success that OpTic has had in summer.
Well, OpTic is not going to allow those enchanters into the roster of Team Liquid this time around. Last week, we got to see kind of what Team Liquid can do when given some of those perma bans like Karma and Yuumi. And in case you missed some of that action, well, it's not exactly pretty to watch. A couple carries with a big front line and some enchanters makes Team Liquid a scary adversary indeed. So that's not going to happen this time around. Sejuani banned out by TL, keeping one of those top-tier jungle picks away. Doing the same thing again here, getting rid of the Silas.
Silas was so big for OpTic last weekend. Meteos had an all-star performance on that champion. And in 9.14, did get some additional changes. You know, some nerfs to the cooldown of the ultimate. A lot of things moved around. Shield going to be Magic Shield now. But regardless, a lot of people still think the champion extremely strong, both from the jungle role and as a mid lane pick. You know, getting a lot of use still out of the Magic Damage Shield. Not gonna be the case here though. Rakan banned away. Ooh. And the hover on Yuumi already.
I'm actually kind of surprised to see the Rakan banned out over the Yuumi. I mentioned how we got to see Team Liquid play some of these powerful shielding and healing champions and how good the team looked on them. And once again, CoreJJ is going to be playing the Yuumi. After the last game where he played it, he made a tweet that said, "Give me the cat more." He wants to play this champion, and we'll see how well he can pop off with it because OpTic Gaming have locked in some fighters here. We got the Draven and the Jarvan picked up first rotation.
And remember, this is 9.14 Yuumi too, so one of the reasons it could get let through, some of the damage taken down, some of the mana was hit as well, so we'll see if CoreJJ can have the same sort of damage output on this champion in a little bit weaker state. Heading against Draven is always a scary thing for the bottom side. A lot of people like to go for early kills down there, and Jarvan is definitely a champion that can get there.
Well, DoubleLift fans should be happy to see him on a champion with some serious outplay potential here in the Lucian. Nothing better than seeing one of the best AD carries in the region, playing such a flashy, dashy, all-around just cool champion, as opposed to a Sona. So, seeing that bottom lane coming out from Team Liquid against a Draven lane from OpTic should be plenty going on here in that bottom half of the map early on. And once again, Aatrox, just a staple of competitive play for so long. Remember, 9.14 means that the ultimate can no longer revive under any circumstance. That is gone, and I'm curious how that'll impact his pro play dominance.
That's true. A lot of the top players I've been talking to has said that he doesn't have to revive anymore, though. He did also get a little increase on the self-healing when you pop your ultimate, and everybody's still pretty confident in the team fighting that Aatrox does bring. This has also been one of Impact's best champions. He has performed on quite a few different carry champions, but Aatrox is definitely kind of at the core of a couple of the Team Liquid compositions. I'm excited to see what they do go for as far as a jungler too, because already they're looking fairly aggressive. The Lucian Yuumi lane is extremely mobile, and definitely has a lot of potential, but Nautilus and Draven is now locked in. Yep. With the Nautilus counter pick with Draven damage, it's very clear, right? You Nautilus go in, you're trying to go in with your Aftershock, you try and just outstat them, force the 2 versus 2 fight, and have more damage with your Draven, more tankiness with your Nautilus.
Well, OpTic Gaming know what their opponent's bottom and top lanes are, so this time it looks like they're going to be targeting the jungle pool, removing that Skarner. We've seen Xmithie prove himself as the best Skarner in the LCS multiple times with this champion, so that one's not allowed this time in. Trundle also banned away, so you were talking about the Aftershock on the Nautilus. They want to make sure there's nothing there to eat those stats and become that huge front line there for the side of TL.
Exactly. It's very clear what OpTic's strategy is in this game already. They've got super hard dive here locked in with Jarvan and Nautilus to try and force fights with the Draven there for backline. See what they can get for Crown, because Crown has really been one of the determining factors of what the overall composition will look like for this team. Whether he's going for a split push style to try and create things for himself on the side lanes, or if he's going to be a DPS for the team fights in the backline. And there's your answer. It will be one of these standard DPS that we have for mid lane right now. Corki and Azir, extremely popular trades.
Ooh,
but Team Liquid won't make that trade.
Team Liquid decide they're not going to answer Corki with Azir. Put your resident sleepers away. It's Yasuo Gragas for TL.
This is so fun to watch. We've seen it happen before. Last time, I believe they had the Yasuo in the hands of Jensen, and Xmithie was able to go mid over and over again. if you have this range knock-up of the Gragas ultimate, it's very easy for a Yasuo and a Gragas to combine for even ranged kills. You can find a 2v1 just separating the enemy jungler and mid laner themselves and look to burst kill one of the two. Definitely an effective strategy versus a team if you're really trying to target that mid lane.
The one thing I'm looking at here in this composition from Team Liquid is a lot of physical damage. Yes, you're going to have some AP coming in from the Gragas, but that's not enough to really 100-0 somebody on your own unless you've just completely decimated the game to begin with. So the tanky lineup of OpTic Gaming will be able to effectively itemize against the TL picks.
Yeah, and we have the last pick of the Poppy coming in for Dhokla. It's one of Dhokla's original super strong champions for the team. They got a lot of wins when they put him on this tank in the top side, and they didn't give a lot of resources to Dhokla early on in the game, but later on he was able to team fight very effectively. And one of the biggest changes for an individual champion, for me at least looking at them for 914, is Poppy's steadfast presence now will ground you after it blocks a dash. So it's actually insane. You can't flash after that. You're also incredibly slow. We'll see how well he's able to deny some of these members in the team fights. That counts Gragas, that counts Aatrox, that counts Yasuo. There's so many champions that Poppy can deny here as far as the mobility.
I looked at those Poppy changes and I saw a region that realized we have a lot of Riven one tricks and not enough of other kinds of one tricks, because that pretty much seemed like the biggest Riven shutdown button to me. And champions like Yasuo and Aatrox that have the ability to move around so frequently, well, like you said, that grounding effect does wonders at making them so much more easy to deal with. And I want to see if OpTic can put themselves in a spot where they're not just going to get caught out and instantly blown up by this knock-up combo you're talking about.
Exactly. And grounding, by the way, the terminology just means they won't be able to flash out of it. They're also slowed by 25% for 2 seconds.
No flashing out and no other movement skills.
There you go. All right, let's see what else they can get here in the mid lane.
Doesn't look like we're going to see something too spicy here at the start. I don't think anybody wants to risk a whole lot here before the minions even arrive themselves onto the map. Team Liquid 11-3. They've proved constantly throughout this split why they are at the top of the table. OpTic, sort of a surprise contender over the course of summer 2019 here. Nobody was expecting this team to come out the gate 4-0 like they did. Struggled a little bit in a couple weeks after that, but have managed to maintain this playoff positioning throughout the entirety of the split, and it's honestly been pretty impressive to see.
Yeah, last weekend was a 2-0 weekend for OpTic. Meteos had that really strong game on the Silas. Now he's getting the leash on blue side for Jarvan, so he's probably going to rush to the level 3 plus double buffs. Big heads into lane, and DoubleLift able to dodge out on the first hook. Keep an eye on this Yuumi, by the way, as far as the lower damage on 914, the more difficult mana regeneration. So far, though, working out quite well as he's able to land the prowling projectile there.
Also notice how he's constantly jumping back and forth to his AD carry. For people out there who are not experienced with Yuumis, or at least with good Yuumis, early on, those auto attacks make a whole lot of difference in weaving your way in and out of those 2v2s to make sure you're actually a presence in the lane and not just AFKing on the AD carry and then playing with your feet on the mouse and keyboard instead. That's the best way to do it. You got to make sure you're actually involved. Until later on, at least, when you're going to be jumping around to everybody in those team fights, sometimes the cat just has to make her own way in the lane. But looking at mid lane here, Jensen versus Crown. The Yasuo dashing and slashing forward, but Crown's got the level advantage, and he'll continue to maintain this momentum.
Yeah, you were talking about CoreJJ jumping off and on to DoubleLift. The other reason that Yuumi's did that in lane was to get the mana back there with your passive, with the auto attack, and that was the part that I was referring to that got removed as far as making it more difficult for her to keep up the mana. Meanwhile, Jensen here in the mid lane, that's where we're expecting a decent amount of focus from Team Liquid. Whenever you have the Gragas and the Yasuo, very common for the Gragas to try and get both control around the mid lane for the Yasuo, as well as use your early Predators and your early Summoner spells there to get the advantage.
Well, we saw Team Liquid ping on this bottom side Scuttle Crab here. Both teams are aware of the positioning of it. Both teams' junglers are nearby. The difference here is that Team Liquid has complete priority and control over the bottom side of the map. There is no way for OpTic to contest it. Free Crab, for example.
Yep, he's able to get that. Always nice when you have your laner pushing up for the Scuttle Crab that you're trying to go get. And you can see once Meteos knows that the bottom Scuttle Crab has been taken by Team Liquid and Xmithie, he immediately heads to the top one here. So he's going to trade them and not let Team Liquid get both of those Scuttle Crabs in the river. He should be uncontested there. This does mean, though, that we have the recall from Xmithie. So Gragas now has those boots in inventory, you can see, and he might head towards mid lane right now. You can use your first Predator on one of these solo lanes, try and get an early presence felt.
That being said, Crown is very close to the turret, and he's on Corki, so it's not like Xmithie has any chance to really make a big play happen here just yet. You saw Xmithie roll the barrel over the wall, looking towards the enemy chicken camp. But top side, Impact looking for that solo kill onto Dhokla. Flash away will keep the OpTic top laner alive.
Yeah, you can see Impact playing really well around that steadfast presence, not grounding himself, not making that mistake, and getting locked down, then forcing the flash from Dhokla. You have to be, it's a very quick game here where you're trying to use the steadfast presence during a dash to guarantee that you're able to knock them down.
Back in the bottom side, it's continuing to just be the DoubleLift game as he and CoreJJ will continue applying this pressure to Arrow and Big. And you named what this composition from Arrow and Big was trying to do with Draven and Nautilus and going all in and just 2v2 straight up fighting, but it's not working so far. Mid lane here, Meteos and Crown trying to make the moves onto Jensen, but he'll get away with the flash.
Slick move there by Jensen. You see him walk back so that he can then E through the Jarvan to gain some distance. Still an effective gank from Meteos though, as he burns the mid lane flash and now is headed towards bottom side. Very easy communication from Team Liquid though. They're saying, hey, Meteos just ganked mid. We lost our presence here. He very well could be going bottom. Xmithie now does get eyeballs on the enemy jungler.
Xmithie finding Meteos there, trading back and forth for the tiny chickens, but the big chicken goes the way of Xmithie as Impact and Dhokla will again continue fighting up here. Impact tries to land Q3, not going to get much damage with it here just yet. Dhokla content to allow Impact to maintain lane control for now. All he needs to do is farm those minions though.
Yep, Impact doing very well so far on the Aatrox, able to push in. Meanwhile, another visit towards mid. We do have the deep wards here that saw Xmithie in the area. So it should be fairly easy for OpTic and Meteos to try and avoid this early invade. CoreJJ goes in and lays down the control ward though for some deeper vision to try and keep track of Jarvan, make sure he doesn't affect the lanes on this side of the map. Meanwhile, another turret plate being whittled away here. DoubleLift is able to get the first one for himself. And already you can see that gold starting to stack up.
400 lead for DoubleLift over Arrow in this bottom side. Yuumi Lucian. Those Yuumi nerfs not hitting the laning phase too hard here this game, but also got to point out what I said earlier, Big and Arrow haven't found any of these dredge lines. The reason they picked this composition was to go all in on these guys, and it's just not working out so far.
Yeah, if you don't get the all-ins, especially if you don't have jungle pressure to really back up that threat, and it's very difficult. Impact has a lot of pressure though.
Impact managing to get the knock-up on Dhokla while he was still in range of the chains, guaranteeing the pullback on them. Make sure he comes out on top in that trade. OpTic's top laner still hanging on in farm. The bottom side is going to be 2v2 here yet again. Both sides still level 5 for both players, meaning we're not going to see the ultimates coming out just yet here. Meteos also hanging around just in case, but it doesn't look like Team Liquid's going to give them the opportunity to make a play there. You can see plenty of vision in this bottom part of the jungle here for OpTic Gaming. Their own control ward placed down, but now it's Predator coming into the mid lane from Xmithie. Maybe he can set something up here on the Gragas. Crown goes over the wall. Yep. There he is. Xmithie going for the body slam. Does manage to get the knockup, but Jensen's not in range, so they won't go any further.
So that was interesting mind game right there. You think after the body slam hits it, maybe it's an instant ultimate, but it can also be a mind game trying to get the flash out of your opponent for free, having them spam it come out of it. In the end, there's just no action there, no ultimate use, no summoner spell use. So I think that's quite good for Crown, who had just Valkyried into the brush right next to Xmithie and avoided possible very dangerous gank there. So
yeah, I feel like any day you can Valk into the enemy jungler and walk away without popping your flash is a pretty good one there for any mid laner. But Xmithie now sees his opportunity to once again make some plays off of the pressure that his bottom lane has bought for the side of Team Liquid. CoreJJ and DoubleLift rotate over to help him, and that will be an early Infernal Drake picked up for the side of TL. No contest here from OpTic Gaming.
Dad talked about it a little bit on the analyst desk, but this Team Liquid, this version has been very strong in the early game. And once again, some early game control here, resulting from the DoubleLift and CoreJJ bottom lane.
They're going all the way
Speaking
in
of
there.
which,
Big and Arrow trying to make those moves happen. DoubleLift's going to be taken down very low. Here comes the package delivery system. Crown's got him. And CoreJJ's on the run. Crown trying to find one more attack. He's got that one too. A double kill for the mid laner of OpTic Gaming.
big roam from Crown down to the bottom side of the map. I mean, Arrow and Big are like, if the jungler's not gonna make the successful cake, let's have Crown come do it. And they find that engage. This is what we have been hyping up for the Nautilus and Draven lane. Now that they're level 6s, they're able to get the ultimate. And Yuumi actually pops off, gets hit with the knockup. Good flash from Big to get that route onto DoubleLift. Afterwards, Crown coming down with the package allows him to make that extra distance for the tower dive. Him still having Valk and Flash after that to be able to get out from under the turret and picking up the second kill is huge for OpTic, getting right back into this game.
And that's the importance of him not having to use the flash in mid lane as well. That's him losing his life in bottom lane if the flash wasn't available. It's all working out here for OpTic Gaming, but of course the advantages Team Liquid has earned themselves so far in the game through farm and through plates means the gold is still very even between these squads. Big trying to make another play here into the bottom lane. DoubleLift once again gonna be in some trouble. It's Meteos with the wombo combo, and OpTic has DoubleLift's number.
And it's Draven that gets the kill this time. Arrow gets to cash in. That is gonna be so big. The bottom lane for Team Liquid had complete control for the first, 7 minutes of this game, resulting in the Infernal Drake, but Big and Arrow now, with a little bit of help from the rest of the team, are absolutely steam-rolling ahead.
When we saw the graphic, DoubleLift was up 400 gold over his opponent in Arrow. Look at the gold now. Arrow is up 1,000 because of the power of the Draven pass.
And we talked a little bit about it in the intro for this game. The bottom lane for OpTic has been one of the big improvements that they have had in a lot of their success. Now they're going for it again!
Meteos is setting this up so well, but DoubleLift's able to turn it around, find himself at least one in retaliation. It's going to be a one-for-one trade. But when you lose your jungler and take out the enemy AD carry, you're still feeling all right. Shelly summoned up here in the top side. Dhokla's trying to defend, maybe turn this one around. He's able to slam them both away with a Keeper's Verdict. But Shelly will put the last couple of attacks into that tier 1 turret. It's first turret over to TL.
Yeah, nice little moves there from Dhokla. Very experienced Poppy player. Immediately charges the enemy jungler into the wall to get the stun. He takes down Xmithie to 50% health and is able to eject both possible gankers here. Let's take another look at the bottom side, though. This was the flash from Arrow. Stand aside, my friend. Big is able to follow that CC up. And that is just successful repeat gank. Arrow knows that with the flash advantage, he can easily set this one up. He's able to get that lockdown. And then, as you know, they continued it with a second dive from Meteos, who Meteos sacrifices his life jumping in on Jarvan. This is the full tank Jarvan, sacrificing for the Cataclysm to lock in DoubleLift. You mentioned trying to deny the enemy AD carry CS by trading death chambers basically with them. That also took its toll, as the bottom lane turret, you can see, only has 2 plates left on the side of Team Liquid. Those 3 were all mined in very quick succession by the OpTic bottom lane. Let's see, this game is getting very interesting, Captain Flowers.
Yes, sir. OpTic Gaming really striking hard here in the bottom lane early on. Xmithie tries to make a play mid with the ultimate, but a nice Valk from Crown keeps him safe.
Horn went out for the homies there. Xmithie just leaving that one in front of the tower. And once again, Crown gets away without a flash or any long cooldown used either, just the Valkyrie.
Crown doing well on this Corki. We've seen the man pop up on the champion before, and now Dhokla's getting himself into those scrappy 1v1s with impact here again. Completed Sunfire Cape means you can't stoppy the poppy. Dhokla is not afraid of this 1v1 anymore, gets the grounding down onto his opponent. Chain's still gonna find Dhokla, picks up the shield, trying to get himself away. Impact has got the better of him now, and the forced flash out of Dhokla.
Pretty fun fight here between the 2 Titans on top side. Conquer doing a lot of work there. As soon as that procs for Aatrox, have to worry about the true damage conversion. OpTic's on the bottom side, though. DoubleLift has to respect this enemy pressure. Xmithie's here to answer.
Could be a full-on 3v3. They're drawing the turret aggro, though. That's way too far in from OpTic. And Team Liquid Liquid punish.
The defending champions here strike back. They've got the extra wards, and this time around, they've got the extra players as well. Impact and Xmithie come down to defend their bottom lane, and it is successful in time for a dragon as well. That play, the repercussions are going to be a little bit bigger, as not only do DoubleLift and CoreJJ answer back with a little bit of money just in time before turret plates drop for themselves, but it is also the Cloud Drake.
That play felt so forced, so panicked. They wanted to wait a little bit of extra time to take down the turret, but when Team Liquid didn't allow them to have it, it all went south.
Yeah, they've got the extra vision here, and the tower with 2 more auto attacks would have gone down, but the teleport completes for them. Then Dhokla's left under the tower, so it's actually 2 kills that go over to Team Liquid. They're at it again!
They're not stopping yet. Package delivery is down. DoubleLift in some trouble. Over the wall goes Meteos, and there's your loot pinata with it. Another double for Arrow.
Ain't no party like a bot lane party, Captain Flowers.
Because a bot lane party don't stop. Not when OpTic's in the game, and Jensen's having to flash himself into the Cataclysm. A nice there, but Jensen with the last breath over the wall. Crowd's still looking to take him down. Couple more hits might be able to do it, but he won't be able to go all the way underneath the turret. The rocket just barely sends Jensen hobbling away.
Who said Corki's a resident sleeper champion, my friend? Not when you're Falcon and invading the enemy jungler right into danger. Nice little trade there of summoner spells as well as ultimates. Xmithie does actually pop his Predator, getting back to try and defend that tower. They don't want to let the second one go down.
Level 12 Impact to level 10 Dhokla. Very different results when they both teleported into the bottom lane. Dhokla just gifting away a free 300 gold prize pool, while Impact was able to go down there, grab himself some XP, turn things around. Dhokla needs a little bit of catching up to do, but he's still going to be useful on this champion. Pure tanks operate on a lower econ than bruisers or fighters do, so as long as he can keep stacking that armor, Poppy's going to be just fine.
And that play on the bottom side, which we're talking about because there were so many rewards for Team Liquid coming out the victor in the bottom lane double teleports, was set up because Team Liquid had the advanced vision. They had a deeper ward over by Tribush that saw Meteos before their control ward saw him, which was when OpTic knew that the plan was up. And so Team Liquid got their countermeasures in place that much quicker. And, you know, a couple seconds in a play like that means everything.
An absolutely incredible 2,500 gold lead for Impact over Dhokla right now in the state of this game means Team Liquid has to be very careful about any fights that don't have Impact in them. When the gold is this close and so much of it is a top lane difference, the bottom half of the map's got to be careful, man, because otherwise you're just going to see Crown continue to do what he's done so much so far this game.
Yeah, I mean, I want to highlight both the bottom side gold differences and then the top side one there. It's basically a lopsided map at this point because Arrow is so much of OpTic's power that they want to play around him.
Biggs now finding himself caught out, trying to escape the chains. Nice use of the stopwatch there to stay alive. They're looking to find the counterattack on the Impact. Remember, there is no reset. Biggs still walks away, and Impact is shut down.
Oh my goodness, Big walks away after turning back around for the re-engage. That is insane. OpTic coming up ahead in that possible tower dive there. And Xmithie just pouring another Gragas ultimate out on the floor.
Stopwatch is a hell of a drug, Kobe, and it's the kind that managed to keep that Nautilus alive in what looked like a doomed situation.
All right, so let's look how early it is actually used too, because the root does land, and Big gets locked up here. Stopwatch now. Then Xmithie comes in. He had probably already pressed his R and queued it up after his E, so it came out after the stopwatch was already there for Big. And so that's why it splats on the ground, but Big able to walk away too in the end, healing back up as well. And that is so big because we just talked about how they want to play around Arrow. Arrow there once again, this Draven now rapid fire and BT and the Executioners calling to cut the healing from the Yuumi as well as the Aatrox as well as the Gragas.
So much work going to be done by that item in these fights. And as we're 18 minutes into the game now, we've reached the point where we're going to see bigger conflicts between 4 or 5 members at a time. OpTic has so many tools to engage with the Poppy, with the Jarvan, with the Nautilus. On the side of Team Liquid, you've got Yasuo Gragas, but if that whiffs, as we've seen a lot of these Gragas ultimates do this game, you don't have nearly as much ready to go.
Definitely true, and we can see by the state of the map. Top side is ruled by Team Liquid. Impact pushing that lane all the way up to the tower, but the rest of the map here is controlled by OpTic. They've got bottom side, they've got mid lane going here, setting up for the Dragon. This next objective, Infernal Drake #2, is going to be big, and OpTic cannot let Team Liquid grab another one.
Gonna be looking to see Impact make some big flanks here on this Aatrox. Really put that gold lead to use. Didn't find success with it last time because of big stopwatch, but you only get one of those, so it's not like you can pull off that play here again. Crown armed with package is actually fantastic for OpTic with this Drake coming up. DoubleLift with a very nice dodge to get away from a dredge line that certainly would have sealed his fate. As OpTic moves Meteos and Crown down to the Drake pit, they realize they only need these two guys to take it. Package should ward away the threat of Team Liquid trying to collapse or contest this, and that means TL will let the Infernal go.
Yep, and remember, as you said, without Impact, Team Liquid do not want that take by, oh my, Crown!
Over the wall goes Crown. He's not able to steal out the red buff. Instead, he's going to be slammed up into the air, nearly taken down, but instead, stopwatch #2, the bane of Team Liquid's existence this game.
Yeah, OpTic rolling in with a couple of Rolexes here as both of the stopwatches have huge rewards for them. Big plays back to back. Crown right on in again. Another package straight into enemy territory. And he's able to get that victory in the fight over Jensen. Jensen looked like he was going to turn around, but the entire time, you know, Crown is spamming that stopwatch. That's why he Valkyries in with confidence here. They saw him start up the red buff, and he knows, even though Meteos is going to have to walk around, the stopwatch will buy enough time. So he's spamming it here as soon as he gets out of the ultimate, does get into it. Even they were able to have the Draven ultimate come by, but I think Meteos had pretty much done the work there.
That was pretty intense from OpTic, but man, do I like watching Crown's Corki. Both players are gonna sit around,
head first,
shoot some rockets at some minions underneath the turret, and wait till 4 items. Not this man, not Crown, flying into enemy faces all day. Every single time the package is up, somebody's going in the ground, and I can't get enough of it.
I'm glad that this game is delivering, because in the beginning of summer, OpTic was one of the surprise teams that were tied for first place right up there with Team Liquid and start out so strong. After the mid-split slump that they had, people were a little bit worried, but they have come back with a vengeance. Now fighting once again very, very closely here, and now with the advantage over Team Liquid, let's see if they can push it. It's always so hard for teams, especially in North America, to really finish games out versus TL. But right now, they've got plenty of vision over the Baron pit. Crown split pushing on top side with that Corki with his big lead, and a Trinity Force should be able to get it.
DoubleLift pushing up here in the mid lane, could be caught out. Has to use the flash to get away from the Nautilus ulti coming in. Dhokla's made his way into the mid lane now as well. Calling finding its way into Dhokla, but the entirety of the spell only takes out about 20% of his health. The buckler will give him a shield to make up for all of that lost HP. Meanwhile, Crown gets the top side tier 1. OpTic are going to hold off Team Liquid aggression for now, but Dhokla's once again going to find himself here in a losing fight. Death's Dance on Impact makes it very hard for Dhokla to do any meaningful damage to this Aatrox.
Yeah, look at that. There's not one, but two. DoubleLift also going the Death's Dance route on the Lucian, trying to go for the more 1v9 sustain build. That's because we talked about in Champs, so like there's so much dive, he wants to be able to survive it. Jensen now in the 1v2.
Jensen trying to escape as Meteos and Crown continue forward. Meteos is going all the way in though.
Ooh.
Wind Wall's not blocking a melee attack, buddy. Meteos takes him down. TP for TP gonna be coming in here yet, as Impact will now be leading the charge for the side of Team Liquid. A keeper's verdict is gonna separate this fight, and Dhokla will continue trying to get away.
Yeah, all of OpTic able to rescue and get everybody out alive. Team Liquid attempted to catch them after the tower dive onto Jensen, but now
we're not done yet. Big face checking the brush, trying to find somebody else to lock down. Over the ball he goes, still looking to find more damage. Nice stopwatch from Xmithie. It goes both ways. Crown's gonna find the rocket over the wall as Impact will chase after Crown and Meteos. The knock up into the follow-up damage. This one's not saving nobody. Shutdown for Impact.
That was huge for Team Liquid. They didn't want to let OpTic get away with all of those kills. And TL get 3 of them back. You can never count this team out.
Team Liquid always find a way to seek out that window and punish when their opponents overcommit.
Look at this. Xmithie in the brush here. Starts it out CoreJJ jumps on him and immediately starts ulting on the Yuumi. They get the kill onto Big. Then the stopwatch actually pays off so big for Xmithie. He ends up living, even though DoubleLift gets sniped over the wall by Crown, and then Impact finally is able to finish off some kills. He's been just pushing people around this entire game, getting a huge lead for himself, but he's finally actually able to cash in this time. Now level 15 on the Aatrox, 3 items completed. It has been the story of this game, but he is such a big win condition for Team Liquid. His team fighting is going to mean everything.
Spirit Visage, the 3rd fully completed item here for Impact as well. Really prioritizing the damage coming out from Crown, who does have the Essence Reaver plus Trinity Force. BF Sword in inventory means Infinity Edge should come online before too much longer. Team Liquid will move DoubleLift out into the mid lane. OpTic recognizing the fact that something's probably up. There's no way DoubleLift just runs in front of you like that unless they've got some sort of a plan, so they don't want to try to jump on him here just yet. Crown has package ready to go. Again, this is a huge difference maker in these fights. Crown's looking to play aggressively. Impact trying to find some damage there. Dhokla going in, looking to start the fight off onto the Team Liquid big boy, and they've got him already. Jensen's in some trouble, and Xmithie's already dead, and that was one hell of a trigger pull. OpTic Gaming, 5 for nothing.
OpTic just destroy Team Liquid in the river. What an engage right there. As soon as Impact misses that Q1, they go all in on it. Crown tries to start it up, going through the river, and Dhokla gets the charge. Heroic charge right into the wall. They basically take out that entire gold lead at the beginning of the fight, 100% to 0, killing off the Aatrox. And now the reward will be Baron, plus they get an Infernal Drake on top of it. What a spicy game, Flowers. Crown should be able to solo that objective at the same time.
I said it earlier, the amount of engaged potential from all these different champions on OpTic is something that the TL composition simply doesn't have. It's Gragas Yasuo or bust, and OpTic busted them real hard.
Here's a look at how they put off. Crown goes in the bottom side. He has the confidence because he has the package. He knows that he's not really in that much threat. And then Dhokla, flash throw charge into the wall, followed up by Meteos, chain CCing Impact from 100 to 0, literally. Aatrox is out of the fight. That means Team Liquid have no chance. Crown's package right over the top for massive damage as well. And it is an absolute train here, headed for the Team Liquid base.
And as we're back to live, that train is going right through mid lane station. Crown, of course, most powerful man on the map, is not here. So OpTic will wisely not overplay their hand. They want to make sure they're applying pressure, but not so much that Team Liquid's able to catch out and punish them. It's all about Arrow avoiding these Gragas casks, making sure he doesn't get comboed by Xmithie and Jensen. Meteos coming into the back line here. Some damage coming down. Jensen gonna be in some trouble. There goes your knockup. Nautilus looking to find that one with the depth charge. Crown has made his way into the fight. Guardian Angel completed on this Corki. Impact is breaking down the base of OpTic Gaming. The split push from Aatrox providing the threat. Impact has the inhibitor turret down, and Dhokla will be sent back to defend. The rest of OpTic has not managed to crack the base of TL, and this is why this is North America's #1 team. They're not the ones with Baron, but they're the ones with an entrance into the enemy base.
Exactly, they know they can't fight the 5-on-5, so a beautiful disengage from Xmithie's ultimate allows Impact to get all the way up to that inhibitor. Now it is exposed, and they really want to isolate him so they can take advantage of that 1v1 still. Right now, though, you can see the Warmogs that has been completed on Poppy. So Dhokla, he has so much armor that he can try and deal a bit with Impact in the lane and then back off, hopefully run away to heal back up with Warmogs and defend their structures. OpTic looking so good here, though, with 1 minute and 15 seconds left on the Baron. They're returning to finish the job.
We've reached the point of equilibrium between the top laners where the fighter has Death's Dance, the tank has Warmogs. Nobody's probably going to be dying in a 1v1 anytime soon. But a 1v1 is not the name of the game, as OpTic will once again pressure onto the tier 3 turret. Baron alive for 55 more seconds. Minion waves have arrived. OpTic don't want to step too far forward. You don't want to give a multi-man Yasuo ult over to Jensen. They've got to be so respectful. They've played well enough to earn this 6,000 gold lead so far. You don't want to throw it away at the steps to the Team Liquid base. But TL is doing a wonderful job on this defense.
And this team fight is so different because everyone has flashes up. So Xmithie can't just throw out his ultimate on Gragas because OpTic players will flash it. You have to flash that combo. So then it's a much more dangerous all-in commitment of someone else has to flash to get the knockup. Dhokla, though, is able to find one.
Impact once again getting himself caught out. He was the guy who was keeping Team Liquid in this game, but now he's the guy who's putting him in the wrong spot until meteos is overextended. The stopwatch again will turn the tide of the fight, and Team Liquid has 3.
That's where you say GG debated at the end there by Impact.
It baited me, man.
It definitely did. That Impact getting that low causes meteos to dive into the enemy team. Jensen's able to wind wall, so they deny any follow-up damage onto Impact. He does not go down, and they get the counter kill onto the OpTic jungler. Arrow also followed up, and Team Liquid still fighting back here. They get the mid lane turret after their troubles. Let's take another look at it. Impact gets caught, he gets knocked up, he gets knocked down, and they think he's about to die. Everyone crowds around, he saves his flash, he gets the heal from CoreJJ. meteos goes in, nobody's there to follow up. Jensen and the rest of the team were able to focus fire him down, and Arrow, who tried to go deal the last hit, had to step up in front of the rest of his tanks. They did not have their defenses set in place. That was not a structured team fight because it came out so quickly. And Team Liquid find an opening to get right back into it.
What a fight for Team Liquid. OpTic Gaming licking their wounds. Still no deaths on their mid laner though. Crown, 5 out of 6 items completed on this Corki. Infinity Edge now done means this damage is absolutely incredible in the team fights if he's given free firing time. That was the biggest difference between that fight and the one that they won earlier in the jungle. Crown was able to package in, find damage onto anybody he wanted. This time around, the turret in the base was stopping the rest of the team from OpTic from going forward. I want to see if they can continue to find these fights in good places because they still have control over the map for now. They're still up about 4,000 gold, and we're going to see Drake spawning in 5 seconds.
And let me draw your eyes, Captain Flowers, to what I talked about before. The flashes changed the team fight. In that last Team Liquid victory, they used 2 critical flashes, Aatrox and the Gragas, which we just highlighted. Meanwhile, OpTic on the losing end did not lose their defensive summoner, so they still have all of the options with the flashes now available. And Team Liquid will have to outplay a little bit harder this time around without the surprise factor.
Jensen with a Sterix gauge in inventory means he'll be able to go in, survive maybe one more auto attack from the Corki before he explodes, which may be enough to get the last breath off. We're not sure. But OpTic Gaming still with control over the neutral territories of this map. They're the ones who are always pushed up into Team Liquid's area. You can see the ward line. I think this often tells the story of a game. It's OpTic wards in Team Liquid's jungle. Team Liquid just trying to creep out of the base, establish a vision line of their own while respecting that OpTic could be around any corner.
All right. Baron on the table, OpTic establishing vision control. You can see the map now go dark for Team Liquid, and they're on the hunt, trying to get some information for themselves. Impact circling around. Dhokla.
Here comes Crown. They're able to find Impact out here. Can they burst him down, though? It is a Guardian Angel Aatrox, and Crown's going to be eating so much damage. The Corki's forced to flash away. meteos and Dhokla will try to tank, but OpTic have engaged on the wrong person. They will lose their jungler. They will lose their support. And they will lose this team fight.
The sustain on this champion is just too damn high. Impact fights his way out. Dhokla's going to be chased down. That's 2 for OpTic, and the front line will be gone.
Not the support, but the top laner instead. It's still a 2-0 for Team Liquid. The damage just isn't there. Yes, Crown has all these items in inventory, but there's no Void Staff, and the magic resistance on Impact is too much.
And with 2 down for OpTic, they have no frontline. Their support is the only one that can set it up. Is big 3v5.
Wow, that was a lot of damage from a rocket onto CoreJJ, but is it going to be enough? OpTic do not want to give away a Baron and their remaining lives to the side of TL. Baron secured, Team Liquid in control, Impact moving forward. Big Spider-Man's his way out through the jungle he goes. Back to the spawn platform he'll land. And Team Liquid tries to find even more. Crown is exhausted. Guardian Angel proc. Surely the end of the game if the Corki falls. He tries to escape the barrel, but he's shut down. And Impact, you cannot say anyone had more of an impact on this game. The man has been cutting through the the OpTic lines the entire game long. Team Liquid pushing on to the Nexus turrets now, looking to find that damage, finding the initiation. Dhokla will defend as much as he can. Shut down over onto Jensen, but Arrow's gone back into the base. There's no damage in the fight, and Team Liquid continue looking for more. Arrow is down, the Nexus turrets are falling. Dhokla goes next, and Impact says revive. I don't need no revive. Team Liquid take down OpTic Gaming.
What a slugfest.
Next time some solo queue top laner tells me top's just an island, top is jungle difference, top don't matter, gonna link him that VOD.
That island is popping off.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of those bougie billionaire private islands right there, because Impact was the man in control so much of this game. He got caught out the one time by Dhokla, the big fight that really gave OpTic their first lead. But other than that one point in the game, he was the pop-off artist for his team every single time.
Yeah, money invested in Impact was money well spent. In the end, he got caught out once again by Crown and Dhokla, but they aren't able to take him down, and especially with the Guardian Angel as well. He turns around, he tries to steal some life back with the Vamp there, and is able to sustain long enough for the rest of the team to converge. Aatrox having multiple knockups to set up Yasuo also really helps. They were able to actually make that travel time a lot shorter, because Jensen could just take it from a screen away, and they're able to turn that last fight around. What a comeback there for Team Liquid.
I mean, Aatrox has healing in the kit, amplified by the ulti, amplified by Spirit Visage, amplified by Death's Dance. You either kill him in 1 second or you ain't gonna kill him. OpTic Gaming learned that the hard way, but for more on Team Liquid's victory, Gabby La Tigress Devia Allen is standing by with the Team Liquid bot laner. Take it away.
I do indeed have the Team Liquid bot laner by my side, DoubleLift, after a wonderful victory. Now, first things first, I'm not gonna give it to you easy. Things were a little rocky there at the start of the game. So what changed for you and the rest of the team midway through?
We lost the fight and we lost Baron, and then I was like, hey guys, I don't think we win these 5v5s. Like, we should probably play more in vision, play a little bit more like crazy, chaotic, like spread out, and try to go for their backline. So obviously, like every team fight before then, and honestly, I was running it down. Like, I think I need to really accept the fact that I was running it pretty hard. So yeah, a few things happened that was pretty unfortunate. You know, the package timing, like Nautilus ulted me, and like that was pretty much no counterplay. And then the map got split on me, and I played it pretty bad and died a few times. So I was useless until later in the game. But I don't know. Like, actually, this whole week we've had these scrims where we were down like 15k gold, and we would just come back. So I think we got pretty comfortable being behind and like learning how to tool people around. Because like in NA, like no one knows how to close out the game. So like honestly, if that was us and we were that ahead, we would have won, right? Like, but because OpTic played it bad and like we played it really well, we were able to come back. And basically, we just decided, okay, we're only gonna win if we kill Corki. He's like level 18, and we just need to kill him. You know, like he can't be doing free damage in fights. That was kind of our plan.
Well, based on your answer there, and in the past, it's no secret that you're, let's say, critical of other teams and including yourself. So with the state of Team Liquid right now, after that performance, having secured that playoff position last week, how would you describe your overall feeling with your roster and the level of confidence?
I mean, I feel really confident. I feel like one aspect of a team that's really undervalued these days is the ability to come back. Usually people only think about Snowball. Like, because of G2 and like everyone's eyes are on G2, they think like, you know, the main aspect of a team, that the main important thing of it, like a strong team, is their ability to get ahead and then crush the game real fast. That's never really been our thing. We play a controlled game and we try to make calculated decisions. If we tried to copy G2, we never would get that to their level, I guess. So I'm really confident in my team because I think we've accepted our style and we've kind of, I don't know, we just have a lot of confidence in each other. Like at no point during this game, like I feel like no one got tilted, even though I was, you know, like 0-3 or something. So it was pretty good.
My last question for you. In the past split, sometimes Team Liquid eases up a little bit within these last couple of weeks. So going into the last week of the regular portion, are we going to get that kind of lean back, or are you going to go hardcore with your last few matches?
I think to clinch first, all we have to do is beat Cloud9 tomorrow. We're sitting right there. But that's not too hard. So I'm pretty confident that we'll clinch first, and then we can kind of experiment a lot more in the rest of the season. There's not really not much left. You know, it's only 2 games, so.
Gotcha. Well, it's very clear that Team Liquid have their eyes on the playoff prize, but that did not stop them from putting a show on for us today. For more on that match, let's send it over to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, the Tigris. DoubleLift very pumped on that comeback victory over OpTic Gaming. We had said the historic scoreline between the teams was 7-0. This was OpTic's shot to turn that around and get a victory. I thought they were going to do it, Crumbs. I thought.
Close. The darts almost predicted.
They almost had it. I was almost brilliant. What happened?
They took a fight without Corki. They went down mid and fought without the guy that was 6-0-6, the most powerful carry. You heard DoubleLift saying the only threat really was the Corki. Late game, the Draven is not as powerful as you might imagine. His range and his positioning is not the greatest as a damage dealer.
And we'll get a look at that fight. I do want to talk about the early game. DoubleLift mentioned it, down 0-3 early in the bot lane. We had teased this idea that Biofrost told us the OpTic bot lane Arrow and Big, he thought was pretty incredible, or had been showing up quite incredibly in scrims. We hadn't necessarily seen that dominance on stage, but up against the best bot lane in North America, DoubleLift CoreJJ, man, they stacked up.
So I wanted the bottom lane for OpTic to be very aggressive this time around, to contrast the first time these two teams met in summer, where they ran Ezreal, Tom Kench. It was just not what you wanted to see. And so when you run the Draven and Nautilus against the Lucian Yuumi, you know it's going to be Operation Camp the bottom lane, and it was just that.
Yeah, and I think the big problem here for me is how CoreJJ can play this all in. I love the bot lane out of OpTic. I love the aggression. You're forcing fights, but you saw CoreJJ really greed out, and he wanted to go for the interrupt on the Nautilus hook, and he popped off too soon and got hit by the ult as well. So he's knocked up in the air. He could have just started ulting first before going for the pop-off play. He wants to try and disengage the situation without needing to do that. He greeds it out, gets knocked up, gets hooked. They're already almost killed DoubleLift by the time he starts ulting, as well as the fact Crown already has an inside track, means that this would have been a hard play to get out of to begin with, showing that OpTic is playing really well, and they were able to abuse TL's bot lane. And that was kind of the kickoff point, because that's all summoners down the bot lane. And now it's open business. You know, keep going down there and exploit TL's strongest part of the map and really set them behind.
Which is crazy in the light of everything we talked about with TL's early game and where Xmithie does put his focus. Yes, we had talked about the fact that his overall jungle proximity to his laners was not necessarily the highest in the league, but that the lane that he would most often help out is that bot lane. OpTic says in the face of that, we're going to target the bot lane anyway. It is your strongest point, and we're going to look to turn things around there.
You can do that because of the matchups that they got in their solo lanes. There's just no chance that the Gragas and the Aatrox have a way to kill Poppy in the top lane. So no matter what Xmithie does up there, it's not going to yield the same results. And then the mid lane, Corki's just so safe. So Xmithie's job really was only in the bottom lane, but it's kind of telegraphed because of how difficult it is to gank the solo laners. And as a result, you have meteos that he gets the first jump, and once you start snowballing that matchup, you just don't want to go to the Draven lane again, because he's got a huge item advantage, a BF sword already, that if you misstep, he's going to lifesteal back against whatever you throw his way.
And while you can't quite abuse the Poppy like you can the Yuumi and Lucian lane, you can still set it really far behind it. Impact did a great job smashing that lane, forcing flashes in 1v1 situations multiple times. Xmithie did the right thing, like you said, sacking bot lane, can't turn that around. They still got the Rift Herald and dropped it top to get Aatrox further ahead, and that was eventually their path back in the game. Impact was the guy who actually won this game for TL.
Yeah, OpTic would grab an ace in mid lane and then take it to, or rather, I guess, red side jungle here, and then take it over to a Baron to give them a sweet lead. What seemed insurmountable, TL will find their way back in, as mentioned, off the back.
Dhokla was the big hero, and then you look at Xmithie's ultimate on the backside, but there was no side of there, so there was no way for Yasuo to be able to come up on that play. And to get a 5-0, you'd think that the game is just gonna be over at this point, but Team Liquid is
here it is, no Corki. He's stuck split pushing bot lane right now.
Yeah, this is the huge mistake they're making. They're fighting a 4v5, and even though you're stronger, and even though, you know, oh my god, look at Impact, he's this bait, you don't have the Corki there the whole time.
But
that is a catastrophic
They had the
mistake.
same confidence, though, because it was Dhokla flashing onto Aatrox, slamming him in, thinking, okay, it's the same replay of the first fight, just without the carry.
Yeah, and I mean, this time around, they don't have any healing reduction for the Aatrox, and so Impact, despite getting 1v2'd, lifesteal tanks all that Corki damage.
I was gonna say, don't need a revive if you just lifesteal it all back up.
Yeah, those Aatrox buffs on the healing from the ultimate went up, and that's really what he used right there to stay alive. You still had a GA, even if they did get through it, but they didn't, and that bought enough time for the rest of the team to collapse. And so Impact, yeah, player of the game.
Player of the game, those stats are incredible. Again, we had already shown the arrow ones. That 15-minute mark, as Kobe mentioned, really showcased a lopsided map. For TL, it was all about playing through Impact. For the side of OpTic, it would be playing around their 2 AD carries because, yes, Crown was a threat, as DoubleLift mentioned. But I think at the end of the day, while an 8-0 historical record against TL is going to sting, again, in the waning weeks of this summer split, and when we talk about that race for playoffs and ultimately the road to Detroit, how is this OpTic team feeling, even in the sting of a loss?
I think this one stings more than any other loss.
You had it.
You had it.
You did.
This was their game right there. We showed the moment where they threw it. It gives you the confidence to know that you can at least body the bottom lane of the best team in the NA right now. So it should give them the confidence after they cool off a bit. But I think that they're going to be really candid on the way back and watching that VOD review because you had the opportunity to topple the record, to get further in the standings, to maybe even approach a potential clinch for a bye. That's still in the running for OpTic, and now maybe not so much.
In the immediate, it will sting. The darts, they almost had it. But ultimately, Team Liquid reigns supreme. On the other side, FlyQuest loads onto the Rift opposite Cloud9, so don't go anywhere.